As we wrap up this weekend, I am joined by a dear friend and colleague of mine, Alan Fisher. He's one of our engineers. You got a really cool event coming up.
We think it's pretty cool. It's a telling of the stories of the first day of the American Revolutionary War, and we're doing it on the actual anniversary, which is April 19th, be Wednesday of this coming week.
Oh my goodness.
And we're going to be at the Gayton Kirk. It's a little Presbyterian church out in the west end of Henrico. The address is 11421 Gayton Road. The event will start about 7:30, and we're going to tell stories about the people who were there at the very beginning of the Revolutionary War, the battles of Lexington and Concord, Paul Revere, traitors and spies and bayonets and muskets and cannon and missing cannon and all kinds of things.
Now, what group is doing this?
The organization is the Revolutionary War Veterans Association, and we have a twofold mission. We teach rifle marksmanship, but we also try and reinvigorate the citizenry of our country by telling the stories of April 19th, because we feel that most people have not heard the stories, don't know the sacrifices that were made to give us this nation.
You're right, because I don't know, but it seems like now in history classes, it's not so much of that history, the old history. It's like it's changed a bit, and I don't think people got the history lessons that maybe you and I did when we were in school.
Even when I was in school, we didn't get the history to the depth that we're going. I mean, there are people there that were going to tell specific individual stories. Isaac Davis would be one. He was a Minuteman captain from the town of Acton. That's about 6 miles away from Concord Bridge. His militia unit was the best trained and best equipped because he was a gunsmith, and he had made sure everybody's musket was in good working order. He made sure everybody had a bayonet, which was unusual for the colonial forces.
Right.
They had a cartridge box, so they were prepared for rapid fire if necessary, something most of the colonials were not. They usually use a powder horn and carry their shot in a bag, whereas the British forces would have a cartridge box. That was the way the military did it. And Isaac Davis had made his unit prepared in the months ahead to be ready for just such an event. And then he is the first officer killed on the colonial side at the Battle of the North Bridge in Concord.
Well, you're right. We don't know that much about that history and that in depth. And this, I mean, we're surrounded by history.
Absolutely. There's a lot of it around here. I've been personally been quite interested in the Revolutionary War history in Virginia, and most of it happens either in the very first few months or the last few months. And the middle portion of the war, basically Virginia got ignored.
Right, but the very beginning and the very end. Now, what's one of your favorite stories that you're looking forward to?
Well, it's probably got to be the tale of Sam Whittemore. Sam Whittemore was an old man. He was 78 years old when the Redcoats marched past his house in the wee hours of the morning, and he knew that something was afoot. But Sam was a veteran. He had been part of the British Army and retired 30 years before.
Wow.
But he had participated in the French and Indian War. He had participated in some other altercations with the French over the years. Again, a very veteran soldier. He got down his musket. He got his dueling pistols that he had gotten from somebody who had, quote, died suddenly. He had a French cavalry saber whose previous owner no longer had need of it, was the story he would tell. And he stood against a wall and was ready for the British when they marched by.
Wow.
And he fired on the British in such a way that they were convinced there was more than one person behind that wall, and they charged with a group of men. He was shot in the face, knocked down with their muskets, bayoneted a number of times, and left for dead. And if you want to hear what happened to Sam, you got to come hear the rest of the story.
Oh my gosh. Again, this is coming up when?
It's going to be Wednesday, April 19th. It's at 7:30 in the evening at the Gayton Kirk Presbyterian Church. That's 11421 Gayton Road in the west end of Henrico.
Oh my gosh. I got to come. I got to hear the rest of the story. Thank you so much.
You're quite welcome. Thank you.